Hi, second graders. I'm here today to kind of continue on with our story elements that we're going to be learning this week. Yesterday, I read to you a book, and then we talked about characters and settings. So I'm going to continue with the process of the story elements, which is going to all come together for the last lesson and how we put all together. On this one, I'm going to talk about problem and solution. So when we read stories, there's always going to be characters. There's a setting of a story, which is when and where the story takes place. And then usually within a story, there is typically something that happens that kind of becomes a little bit of a problem. And then as the story goes on, the characters typically work through the problem, and then there's a solution. So the problem is what needs to be fixed in the story, and the solution is how the problem is solved. So first you have to identify what is the problem, what was kind of happening in the story that caused some things for the characters to go through, and then how did that character move on and get through it. So this is a story, another mat that you're going to be working on today, and this is my example one based off the story I'm going to read, and I will also put this in Google Classroom so you can look at my example, but then you will be completing one on your own on a different story. So mine is your example today to kind of guide you and show you what I expect, and then you will be using a different story that you read on your own at home to complete the problem and solution mat, just like you did yesterday with the characters and setting. So today I'm going to read a book called The Day the Crayons Quit, and this is by Drew Daywalt. And I have a student, one of you, who's been begging me for most of the school year to read this book. So I'm so happy this is one of the books I brought home when I just grabbed a bunch of books before I left when all this remote learning went on. And Max, this story's for you because this is the one you've been asking me to read. So this is a fun one. I do enjoy this one. I love all books, so I say that about every book I read. But we're going to read through this and kind of be thinking as we're reading about what kind of problem comes up in this story, and then how does the character work through it to solve it. So The Day the Crayons Quit by Drew Daywalt. One day in class, Duncan went to take out his crayons and found a stack of letters with his name on them. They say, to Duncan. So the way this format of this story works is each crayon now, Duncan's going to open up those letters and read the letters from the crayons. Hey Duncan, it's me, Red Crayon. We need to talk. You make me work harder than any of your other crayons. All year long, I wear myself out coloring fire engines, apples, strawberries, and everything else that's red. I even work on holidays. I have to color all the Santas at Christmas and all the hearts on Valentine's Day. I need a rest. You're overworked friend, Red Crayon. So Red Crayon's kind of feeling like you're working me too much, not getting paid enough for this. Then we have Purple Crayon's letter. Dear Duncan, all right, listen. I love that I'm your favorite crayon for grapes and dragons, wizard hats, but it makes me crazy so much that my gorgeous color goes outside of the lines. If you don't start coloring inside the lines soon, I'm going to completely lose it. Your very neat friend, Purple Crayon. So Purple Crayon likes things to be tidy and neat. Doesn't like to be coloring out of the lines. Kind of reminds me of when my son would color crazy out of the lines, and he had a little friend who was a girl who would get really upset with him when they were little, when he would color in her coloring book. He would get really mad at her. Or she would get mad at him for coloring outside the lines because she was very neat, like Purple Crayon. Dear Duncan, I'm tired of being called light brown or dark brown because I'm neither. I am beige and I am proud. I'm also tired of being second place to Mr. Brown Crayon. It's not fair that Brown gets all the bears and the ponies and the puppies, all while the only things I get are turkey dinners, if I'm lucky, and wheat. Let's be honest. When was the last time you saw a kid get excited about coloring wheat? Your beige friend, Beige Crayon. Sometimes you can use the word beige to mean kind of like sad, like when you're beige, maybe you're just kind of ordinary and sad or down. And you can also kind of tell he's kind of leaning over like he's sad. Duncan, gray crayon here. You're killing me. I know you love elephants, and I know that elephants are gray. But that's a lot of space to color all by myself. And don't even get me started on your rhinos and hippos and humpback whales. You know how tired I am after getting handled on one of those things? Such big animals. Baby penguins are gray, you know. So are very tiny rocks and pebbles. How about one of those once in a while to give me a break? Your very tired friend, Gray Crayon. So Gray Crayon saying, I've had enough. These animals are too big. You have to color and color and color in this big space. And it's just too much. Dear Duncan, you color with me, but why? Most of the time I'm the same color as the page you're using. White. If I didn't have a black outline, you wouldn't even know I was there. I'm not even in the rainbow, and I've only used to color snow or to fill an empty space between other things. And if it leaves me feeling, well, empty, we need to talk. Your empty friend, White Crayon. Poor White Crayon just doesn't feel very wanted or doesn't feel very special. Hi, Duncan. I hate being used to draw the outline of things. Things that are colored in by other colors, all of which they're brighter than me. It's not fair when you use me to draw a nice beach ball and then fill in the colors of the beach ball with all the other crayons. How about a black beach ball sometime? Is that too much to ask? Your friend, Black Crayon. Black's like, I want more to life than just drawing outlines. Dear Duncan, as Green Crayon, I am writing for two reasons. One to say is I like my work loads of crocodiles, trees, dinosaurs, and frogs. I have no problems and wish to congratulate you on a very successful coloring things green career so far. The second reason I'm writing is for my friends Yellow Crayon and Orange Crayon, both who are not speaking to each other. Both crayons feel that they should be the color of the sun. Please settle this soon because they're driving the rest of us crazy. Your happy friend, Green Crayon. So he doesn't really have a problem himself with how Duncan's using him, but he's like, please solve this issue because I'm tired of Yellow and Orange coming and complaining. Dear Duncan, Yellow Crayon here. I need you to tell Orange Crayon that I am the color of the sun. I would tell him, but we are no longer speaking. And I can prove I'm the color of the sun too. Last Tuesday, you used me to color in the sun on your Happy Farm coloring book. In case you've forgotten, it's on page 7. You can't miss me. I'm shining down brilliant on the field of yellow corn. Your pal, and the true color of the sun, Yellow Crayon. So he's saying, there I am, right there in your coloring book. I'm the sun. Let's see what Orange Crayon has to say, because Orange doesn't look too happy. They're going, Dear Duncan, I see Yellow Crayon already talked to you, but the big whiner. Anyway, could you please tell Mr. Tattletale that he is not the color of the sun? I would, but we're no longer speaking. We both know that I'm clearly the color of the sun, because on Thursday you used to color me. You used me to color the sun on both the Monkey Island and the Meet the Zookeeper pages in your Day at the Zoo book. Aren't you glad I'm here? Ha ha. Your pal in the real color of the sun, Orange Crayon. So Orange Crayon's like, I got 2 pages in the coloring book. So that makes me the color of the sun. Here's the letter from Blue. Dear Duncan, it has been great being your favorite color this past year and the year before and the year before that. I have really enjoyed all those oceans, lakes, rivers, raindrops, rain clouds, and clear skies. But the bad news is that I'm so short and stubby, I can't even see over the railing of the crayon box anymore. I need a break. Your very stubby friend, Blue Crayon. Oh, yep, he's overworked, I think. He's happy, but he's a little overworked. Duncan, okay, listen here, kid. You have not used me once in the past year. It's because you think I'm a girl's color, isn't it? Speaking of which, please tell your little sister I said thank you for using me to color in her Little Princess coloring book. I think she did a fabulous job of staying in the lines. Now back to us. Could you please use me sometime to color the occasional pink dinosaur or monster at the or cowboy? Goodness knows, they could use a splash of color. Your unused friend, Pink Crayon. Says pink can be for boys too. Dear Duncan, it's me, Peach Crayon. Why do you peel the paper off my wrapping? Now I'm naked and too embarrassed to leave the crayon box. I don't even have any underwear. How would you like to go to school naked? I need some clothes. Help! Your naked friend, Peach Crayon. Oh, look, poor Peach Crayon's embarrassed to come out. Saying, please don't do that anymore. Well, poor Duncan just wanted to color. And of course he wanted his crayons also to be happy. And that gave him an idea. So Duncan's like, I'm going to think back through all these letters and all the advice my crayons gave me. Let me see what I can do. When Duncan showed his teacher his new picture, she gave him an A for coloring. So if you look through this picture, Duncan took the advice of a lot of his crayon friends and what they were saying and kind of incorporated them all in the way they were wanting to be incorporated. I see pink in there and an A+ for creativity. That's a cute book. Okay, so now if we were going to use this book to help us with our problem and solution mat, when you look in your mat that I gave the document, under it says, I can describe the problem in a story. Then it kind of gives some suggestions and questions to ask yourself when you're discovering the problem. What went wrong? What does the character want to change or fix? Why did the character struggle? So those are some things you would ask yourself to try to pinpoint the problem in your story. Then I can describe a solution in the story. Remember, solution is how something is solved. So I can think about how the problem was fixed. What did the character do? What happened at the end? Solutions typically come towards the end of the story. And during that time, though, you're thinking of how did the character change? What are some things the character did differently? And how was the problem fixed? So that's kind of what you're thinking for solutions. So in my example for problem and for the day the crayons quit, I put Duncan went to his box of crayons and found letters from all of his crayons. Most of his crayons were sad or upset about how Duncan was using them. So that was a problem. When Duncan opened up his crayon box, found all those letters, he realized there was kind of a problem because each crayon had maybe a little issue with the way Duncan was using them. So that was a problem in this story. Solution, I thought about, how was it fixed? What did Duncan do differently? How did he change? What happened at the end? Those are things I was thinking about when I came up with my solution. My solution is right here. Duncan wanted to make his crayons happy. So in the end, Duncan took the advice from all of his crayons and colored a beautiful picture using all the colors just the way they wanted to be used. So at the end, he decided, okay, I'm gonna take all the advice from the crayons and their letters, and then I'm gonna make a picture that portrays them the way they want to be portrayed. And so he used the crayons in the way they wanted to be used. So that's how he helped solve the problem to try to make his crayons happy. It's kind of like our habit, think win-win. He was trying to make himself happy by being able to use his crayons and coloring and having fun, but then also trying to think of what could I do to make all the crayons happy as well as me. So it's kind of ties into our 7 habits as well. Okay, so today you'll be doing problem and solution. All right, bye friends.